Hey everyone, so we are going to go over the quadratic test review, and this is to help earn points back onto your test grade. So the first set of questions I want to look at is question 6 and question 7. So if I look here, I have them kind of side by side, and let's look at question 6 first. It says which equation can be used to represent the quadratic function, and it's given us a quadratic function in the graph right here. And I have equations as my answer choices. Okay. So I can actually do this a couple of ways. I can either create a table from this graph and then plug those points into my stat edit, or I could also plug my equations in to my calculator to try to match my graph, because all I want to know is if or which one of these equations matches that graph right there. All right, so first thing I notice is that the vertex of the function is close to 12. So I'm going to look at my graph really closely. It looks like the vertex is a little bit above 12, but the y-intercept specifically is at positive 12. And let me make that point right there. So it's at positive 12. So if I look at my answer choices here, the y-intercept is negative 12, positive, positive 12, negative 12. So I know that it cannot be the first one or the last one. So I'm just going to cross those out. So it's not that one. And then it's not this one. So it's going to be one of those. So when I go into my calculator, I'm plugging in, let's see, the g's negative x squared plus x plus 12. I'm going to graph that. Looks like it's going in the same direction so far. Okay. I noticed, let's see, my x-intercepts here are at negative 4 and 3. So I can go and look at my table for this. I have a positive 4 and a negative 3. So that may not be the one. Let me check with the second equation. Let's see, negative x squared minus x plus 12. This is going to be my red graph. So when I go to my graph, oh, that one shifted just a little bit. So I want to know what this point is. That's negative, let's see. If I look, yep, negative 4 and positive 3. And that's exactly the one that matches my graph here, negative 4 and positive 3. So my correct answer in this case is going to be H. Okay. And then I'm going to clear out my calculator, ready for problem number 7. So it says which function is equivalent to, and then it gives me the equation, and then my answer choices are a bunch of equations as well. Well, I got to think about the word equivalent. Equivalent kind of sounds like equals or the same. So I want to know which of these answer choices is equal or the same as this first one right here. So honestly, 6 and 7 are kind of very similar. Notice that I'm trying to match what they've given me. So in this case, they gave me a graph and I'm matching the equation to the graph. In this case, they gave me an equation and I'm matching these equations with this equation. So for number 7, we would have plugged that in as 6x squared minus 13x plus 5. Oops. Plus 5. And then I'm going to type in, let's just type in a first, 3x minus 1. And then notice I am putting in the parentheses, 2x plus 5, close them up. And look at my graph, there's a blue, ooh. So do those two equations look equivalent? Definitely not. And I can also look at my table. They are not equivalent, otherwise the y's would be the same. So basically I would just continue going down my answer choices to see which one is actually equivalent. And let's see, B was 3x minus 5, and that was 2x minus 1. And if I look at the graph, those were like really right on top of each other. And look at the table. Yep. But those y's, they're all the same. So that's how I know that that one is my equivalent problem to this equation. So our question was, how could we have solved these problems similarly? We match the graph or equations with the equations in the answer choices. Okay, and that is how we could have solved problem 6, problem 7. Notice since those are matching representation problems, I had a total of 3 matching representation problems. So there was one more problem on the test that was also very similar, where you just had to plug it in and either look at the graph, the equations, or the table. All right, and that's for that set. Watch the next video for the next set of problems.